right, well, good day, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Banner Buzz, our weekly news podcast. I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to join us and learn a little bit more about things going on in Brenham and Washington County. And I'm really thrilled today to welcome our guest, Brenham City Manager Carolyn Miller. Carolyn, thank you.
Thank you.
I know you're a busy woman, and I appreciate you taking the time and looking forward to learn a little bit more about you and things going on in the city and so forth and so on. So again, thank you. Before we get started, let me take a brief look at Carolyn's career and her bio. I got all this off the city of Brenham's website. So, and that says that you joined the city in May 2005.
That's true.
And became the director of finance shortly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
In June of 2009, you became the chief financial officer and then were promoted to assistant city manager in April of 2015. Mm-hmm. A few years later, in 2022, you became the city manager, and this is where you are. That's quite a ladder of progression, success, and so forth since you've joined the city of Brenham. And then your bio also says you began your professional career in the private sector, and you had more than 25 years of a successful career there before you joined the city and had like successful career number 2.
Yes.
So, and then what I found interesting was that you were also a Blinn College trustee for 4 years from 2011 to 2015. Mm-hmm. So, kudos to you for all you've done and what you're still doing. And
thank you.
Let me start off. Is there anything else you'd like to add as we get started about you personally, your life, your career, anything?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for this opportunity.
Sure.
And as I like to say, as far as my career, I did have a successful career in the private sector and came to the city of Brenham and took the stairs all the way to the city manager's office. A lot of times city managers don't have the opportunity to stay in one organization for as many years. And so I think I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity, and it's given me a larger perspective on city issues and city government.
Sure.
And so I'm very appreciative of that opportunity.
So, and briefly, if I can ask, what did you do in the private sector before you got to the city?
Well, once I graduated from Texas A&M, I went to work in Houston in one of the big 4 CPA firms.
Oh, okay.
I was in auditing, passed the CPA exam, and went to work at Methodist Hospital after about 3 or 4 years. One of the audit partners of the firm I worked at went to Methodist Hospital to start the internal audit function. And he recruited me, and we started the first internal audit function for Methodist Hospital. I was there 11 years, had an opportunity to work in a lot of different areas, mentored by some outstanding individuals, which helped me to grow and expand my professional knowledge. And I think it helps me now to pass that on to younger managers and our future leaders at the city.
Okay. So what prompted you to apply or get interested in working for the city of Brenham?
Interesting that you should ask that. My daughter had just graduated from high school and was going off to college. Okay. And my son was going into high school, and I was working in Navasota at the time for Coalcourse Petroleum. Was driving back and forth. I'd been there about 4 years as their corporate controller, and decided I probably needed to get back to Brenham so my son could have transportation since he wasn't driving yet. And so interviewed at the city and was successful in getting the position. It was a senior accountant, so was a little bit new opportunity for me to take my financial skills, private sector skills, auditing skills into the city. And it's been very rewarding for me. So that's what led me to take advantage of that opportunity.
And the rest is history, as
that's
they
right.
Say, right? So to me, my first real question is an obvious one. What does a city manager do?
The city manager, if I could put it into a term, would be the CEO of the organization.
Okay, good.
So I set the culture, try to set the tone for the organization, stay positive, stay focused, make sure that I stay in communication with our council members. I'm a resource for other elected officials, citizens, any of our other boards and committees. Being there almost 20 years next May, I have a lot of historical perspective, institutional knowledge. And so every day is different. There's no 2 days the same.
Sure, sure.
And so it keeps me on my toes, and it's very interesting.
Okay, good, good. So in the chain of command, all the department heads, they answer to you.
I have 9 department
Okay.
heads plus the general manager of public utilities and the chief financial officer.
Okay.
So quite a lot of direct reports at this point in time. The council wanted me to hire an assistant city manager. That's part of the succession planning at the city for a number of positions. And so that will be coming up. We'll advertise and try to select somebody early next year.
Oh, good.
And then 4 or 5 of those director level individuals will report to the assistant city manager. So probably 6 in all after this levels out.
And for those who may not know, the department heads include chief of police, fire chief, public utilities, finance director, tourism. I mean, all correct? I mean,
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I know you said every day's different, but I'm sure one of the key functions that you have to have is communication between. I mean, I consider you you have to have communications from the department heads and employees to you, and then also from the mayor and the city council back to you. So in a way, are you kind of a liaison between?
I think that would be a good way to put it. The communication, I feel like we're a very strong team. We support each other. There's going to be a project that someone else takes the lead, but we're always there in a role to support the advancement of those priorities. And you just have to make sure that we're all going the same direction.
Sure.
We make sure that we set the priorities. Council gives us the policy direction, and we all work together.
It certainly makes it easier to navigate the boat when everybody's rowing in the same direction.
That's true.
That's right. So, and then also at the top of the leadership tree, we mentioned, Mayor Atwood Conjera, and then city council members. So how do all of you align when you conduct the city's business?
I think our city council always has the best interest of the city moving forward. They have open mind. They're very open-minded. They're very collaborative, and they have an ability to compromise on different issues, whether it's noise ordinance, whether it's a downtown initiative, whether it's a project in public utilities. So my job, I think, is to provide the information, to provide the framework and the background, and most importantly, the financial tools or resources of how we're going to accomplish this. Because a lot of times it comes down to, we know it's a priority, but we have to understand when we'll have the resources financially and the ability for my team to manage new projects. And so council is very open-minded. They're very willing to see a lot of different perspectives. There's a lot of collaboration and respect with our council.
So then again, with the council and with the mayor, we're kind of back to you being the liaison. You report what you need to report to the council and to the mayor, and then the council and you and the mayor are kind of the top leadership, I would assume. And again, it's just critical that you all work together and communicate and all that. And so so things, of course, have to operate as smoothly as possible with all that. So, and something that's always been a little curious to me is that our mayor is elected,
Mhm.
City council members are elected, but the city manager is hired.
Mhm.
W- is there a reason for that? I mean, I don't know. I think people have asked me that on occasion throughout my career. Well, why don't we hire, why don't we elect a city manager instead of hiring one when we
Mhm.
elect the other positions? Any thoughts or reasons on that?
Well, actually, that is pointed out in state statute.
Okay.
So there's two types of cities depending on your
Right.
population.
Right.
So you can be a general law if you're 5,000 and below. Once you reach 5,000, you can be considered a home rule, and you
Mhm.
have a charter election to incorporate your city. And our city charter states that the city manager is an appointed position.
Okay. Okay.
So the city of Houston has a strong mayor form of government. They don't have a city manager. So you can have that as well. So it varies across all the cities in the state. And our city charter
Okay.
designates as the city manager is appointed. Mhm.
Okay. So again, that's just what Brenham has decided to do within the regulations of the state.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, again, for me, from the outside looking in, it appears that you were kind of behind the scenes quite a bit. Doing all you do, managing, leadership, all that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, how would you describe your leadership and management style?
Probably, I would say participative, inclusive. When we have meetings at the city, I include all the team members that could have information or that would be able to um, provide updates on what this project scope is, what the decisions that we need to make. And I
Mm-hmm.
also include individuals that could benefit in their professional growth from being involved in those meetings. We have a lot of young managers and we have seasoned managers as well.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of run the gamut. And so I feel like part of my responsibility is to pass on that knowledge.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so I've learned a long time ago that there are people that have answers, information that can provide resources, that I'm not the smartest person in the room. And so I always look forward to having those individuals participate and feel included.
But it's probably good to have a mix of younger and more experienced department heads. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it just seems like, because that way, not everybody retires at once or something. That you kind
Correct.
of,
Mm-hmm.
so that's good. That I
Mm-hmm.
would think that you have that good mix of younger and more experienced and all that. To help the city function,
Mm-hmm.
properly. Um, so now the budget.
Mm-hmm.
It does the budget come through you? Is that, are you responsible for the budget through the help and assistance of all your department heads and so forth? Is that one of
Yes.
your
Yes.
responsibilities?
The city charter states that the city manager is the budget officer for the city.
Okay.
Um, I guess fortunately for me, coming up through the finance area,
That's right.
I'm very much in tune to the budget, and I have a lot of knowledge regarding the city of Brenham's budget. We recently recruited an excellent chief financial officer from the private sector, and she has really gained a knowledge base, and she's helped us get where we are. She's relatively new to the organization, but she's doing an amazing
Sure.
job.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have most of the individuals in finance I hired since I've been there. And so they are absolutely excellent at their jobs and what they bring to the organization. And finances is never, the financial health of the city is always strong, our position strong, because we have 5 CPAs at the city.
Mm.
And so
I didn't know you had that
I
many.
take
But yeah.
I
Yeah.
take great pride in that
Sure.
because that's a standard of excellence and experience and knowledge that helps us stand strong. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure finances of the city being strong and in good shape, but that's the budget and the finances has to be something that's always at least in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just so critical and important, that you keep on track and keep the vision going along with the budget and, how much money do you have to spend to do certain things in certain ways. I mean, it just makes common sense for that. So if there is such a thing, what's a typical day like for you? I know you said every day is kind of different, but
it would be a lot of meetings. The mayor might stop by and he has an issue that he needs me to focus on. I might meet with the fire chief, the police chief on a regular basis. Most of the directors that are at City Hall, they can stop by anytime and catch me. We work together so long that they know when to bring me into an issue, when to run things by me. And it could be it could be a scheduled meeting, or it could be what we would term a drive-by. They stick their head in and just say, I need 10 minutes, and it may end up being 30. And we may say, I need to run that by the mayor, or let me visit with our CFO, and see if we can fund that either in this budget, next year's budget. So I like to be informal. I don't like a lot of formality. And so if I'm there in my office, you can stop by and we can discuss any issue. So it's always open-ended, but it's great.
It's always good to have an open door policy. I mean, I certainly agree with that. So, and as we move on, for a public entity, any public entity, it's always good and critical to be as transparent as you can. And that includes city government. So that includes the city of Brenham. So how do you ensure that you're always as transparent as you can be or should be? I mean, what's that look like?
Well, for me, and this is what I've tried to instill in the team, if you uphold the public trust, transparency is not an issue. If you are consistent, if you are meeting expectations of your citizens, they don't have a reason to not feel like the city government is being well run. They want accountability, and they want to know that the city is fiscally responsible. And that's what I've tried to build my career and reputation on at the city. That's what I'm most proud of. Okay. And I feel like when I first came to the city and became the finance director, I prepared the first quarterly financial report to give to the council and the citizens. And one of my dear friends and staunch supporters, Mr. Perry Thomas, he came up to me and he said, "Thank you. You have put the city financial position in a way that I can understand it." And every time we'd have a quarterly update for council, he would be there and he would be saying thank you, because I wanted to take away the mystery and the questions about where does our city stand. I think people want to know, where do we stand? What are our days in reserves? How are we going to prepare for any unexpected or unforeseen situations? And so I kind of made that a focus to say, let's put it in layman's terms where our council and our community can understand. And so I think in that regard, over the years, the trust has built up. And so the organization and the community knows that the city, what we're doing and how we're conducting our business is transparent, and it's upholding the public trust.
Good. Well, I think you do a good job with that. I mean, I know there are times, with us constantly seeking information from an entity such as the city of Brenham or the school districts or whatever, there are times you can't tell us things, police investigations and so forth. But I think in a general sense, you guys do a great job of communicating with us and with the public and keeping us as informed as you can. So we appreciate that at the newspaper. So
thank you. It's good to hear that.
Yeah. So in the time you've been with the city, a long time, in your opinion, what's been the biggest change you've seen in Brenham? I know it's kind of a loaded, open-ended question, but what comes to mind?
Well, we've had a lot of growth in the residential areas, commercial,
Mhm.
retail.
Mhm.
I think that you could just drive down the Highway 290 corridor or 36, and you would see that Brenham has grown and it's changed. We're not unlike other Texas cities, though,
Mhm. Mhm.
because Texas is growing. I know if you read any news articles or anything, you'll find out that we're not unlike those cities. I think what is the challenge is managing resources and service levels. And we compete with private sector and other governmental agencies for top talent.
Sure.
And you've
Sure.
got to have top talent in order to maintain your city government. And we have a challenge. We have a lot of long tenured staff that are going to be difficult to replace. So I would say a challenge to me is retention, recruitment, and making sure that we deliver the service levels that the citizens expect, but it's something that they can afford.
Sure. Well said.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's change gears a little bit
Mhm.
and kind of focus back on you for a minute here. So a while ago, you had a previous announcement that you were going to retire, and then in February, it was announced that you were going to stick around for a while into
Mhm.
2025. The reason given for your agreement to stay, that there were several crucial initiatives underway, and you wanted to kind of help see them through and ensure the seamless progression of the projects.
Mhm.
So, briefly, what kind of projects were we talking about? I mean, what are you focused on to ensure, you know, smooth completion or whatever? I mean, what were you talking about when you were thinking that way?
Well, our fire station number 2
Right. That's
has
right.
been a priority for the city for several years now, and I'm happy to say that next Wednesday we open the bids, November
Oh, good.
20th.
Good.
So hopefully that will be we'll get those bids awarded and we'll begin construction early next year. It'll probably take a year to complete,
Mm-hmm.
and so I will be at the city to see that to completion. We also needed to focus on staffing for fire station number 2
Sure.
because you don't want to have a facility and you don't have the firefighters or the resources. So when I became city manager, we had 5 firefighters per shift. We have 3 shifts. Now we're up to 8, and we'll grow to 9 in 2025. So we'll have 5 at Station 1 and 4 at Station 2 to serve the community. So that was a big initiative
Sure.
right
And an
there.
exciting one
It
too.
is. It's going to
Yeah.
be great. It's I know our council is excited. The of course fire department is, and the community
Sure.
is going to see the benefit of that.
Good.
I would say the next issue, we had some vacancy in some key positions. The general manager of public utilities announced her retirement.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
had our budget officer left to go back to the Metroplex. We had a vacancy. We had an interim fire chief at that time.
That's right. That's
We
right.
had our assistant chief had decided to retire, and our police chief was not going to return to duty. He was
Right.
retiring as well.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think a lot of times I kind of use this analogy. You don't want to join a team unless you know who the head coach is. So I kind of looked at that to say, if I can stay, provide some stability and continuity, then we can recruit for these key positions, which we have. We brought on a general manager with municipal experience, also experience in the private sector. We have a outstanding CFO, came from the private sector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We recruited a fire chief, and we have recruited an assistant fire chief, and our police chief was promoted from within.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of key vacancies have been filled, and we have excellent team now moving forward.
Yes.
So we have
Agreed.
some continuity. And then I would say, lastly, succession planning. The council was wanted me to be sure that I had somebody in place, maybe if not to be my replacement, but at least keep things moving forward while they conducted the search. And so that will be coming up early next year. We'll recruit for an assistant city manager.
So, maybe this is putting you on the spot a little bit as we
Okay.
talk about we talk about you and in your retirement sometime.
Mhm.
I mean, I know you're committed, and thankfully so, to continuing to help lead the city. But is retirement in the cards then for sometime in 25? You hope, or do we just not know yet?
I would say we just don't know yet. I would like to stay. Well, I'm intending to stay until Fire Station 2 is completed and
Okay.
staffed and everything's moved in. And then we'll see how the onboarding with the new assistant city manager is going. But it's not way in the future, but it's not going to be next year. I'll sit down with council and we'll discuss it and decide, and hopefully it'll be a smooth transition to new leadership.
Well, I know you got a great team, but a lot of us, including myself, appreciate that you're staying on a little bit longer.
Well, thank you.
Because I think you're doing a tremendous job, and look forward to the continued great job that you're doing into next year. So thank you. On a personal standpoint, thank you for staying on a little bit longer. Not that you couldn't find a good replacement, you're not going to find a good replacement, but I appreciate the relationship we have and the way we can communicate back and forth and so forth. And again, I think you're doing a tremendous job. So, and as we wrap up here, just any final thoughts on the city, on you, on anything moving forward?
Well, I would like for our citizens to know that our city team is there. They are dedicated. They're committed to providing excellent service. And I couldn't do what I do without them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all 200 plus. So many thanks to them, much appreciation. I hope they spend time with their friends and family coming up on the holiday season, and that they know how much the mayor, the city council, and the leadership team appreciates all they do. Mm-hmm.
Well, and how much we appreciate all they do as well. So, and folks, you've been watching the Banner Buzz podcast. Thank you for tuning in this week. And this is just one of the many ways that we here at the newspaper can communicate with you and keep you informed. And we enjoy this. I certainly enjoy doing this podcast, and especially when I have great people like our city manager, Carolyn Miller, as my guest. Thank you for taking the time again. And it's been a lot of fun to talk to you as well as be, informative. So again, keep up the great work. Again, we appreciate you very, very much. My guest next week will be, I believe, one of the city's department heads, as I'm going to bring in Tourism and Marketing Director Jennifer Eckerman.
Okay, great.
And we're going to kind of pick a little bit more and learn more about the Smithsonian Institute, the traveling exhibit that'll be coming here, shortly, shortly, 2-3 weeks,
yes.
Beginning of December.
Beginning of December.
So to listen to our podcast, simply go to our webpage at www.brenhambanner.com and click on the Listen Now button under our podcast title. And also to view the podcast, you go through Spotify. So if you want to see us instead of just listen to us, you have that option as well. And a reminder that we just put out a new, the latest edition of the Banner Press today, and several great stories in it. We kind of have a somewhat of a Burton-focused edition, as we have a couple of stories on the front page about Burton and sports. Boy, I'll tell you, Burton's just between volleyball and basketball and football, and then of course we have football playoffs, and it's our Nicholas Hodel, my sports guy. He's just overwhelmed with good stuff going on, and of course we had our annual cooking contest on Tuesday night, so we have some photos from that as well. So pick up your latest copy if you're not a subscriber, and if you are a subscriber, thank you. We appreciate you being part of our family. And if you're not, it's easy to do. Just pick up the phone, call 979-836-7956, and we'll be happy to take care of you and welcome you into our family. So again, thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Always
Keith.
good to talk to you. I enjoy it. Look forward to more visits in the future. And to all of you out there, thank you for watching and have a great day.